Right. So we're still we stepped back from the brink in some ways. Things like destroying the Paris Accords and going full fledged ahead on suicidal ecocidal destruction of the Earth's resources. At least is we have a handle on beginning to turn that around. But even the steps that have been taken, may not be enough to save our planet. Is our
Right.
planet still heading toward catastrophe?
Yeah, exactly. I have a new book coming out called Design for a Living Planet, the Earth Constitution Solution. And in there, I have an entire chapter on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And the chapter argues that these cannot be achieved, because the UN system is predicated on the principle of sovereign nations, and the UN economic system and political system is this fragmented nation state centered system, which cannot possibly give us the unity and the synergy and the coordination and the vision that are necessary to create a sustainable planet.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder if part of the problem isn't that even if you get a really great person, even if you had a saint in the role of president of the United States, they're still afflicted with the fact of what President Eisenhower talked about, this huge military industrial complex that even he, right, as a general, in his final warning to the nation, the most important speech, said, this is in every state house. It's going to destroy our economy. It's the best it can mean is a life of continuous fear and tension and a burden of arms that is stealing from every part of our society. And the worst is atomic war. And we're still, this many years later, teetering on the edge of that.
Right.
Is the problem, you mentioned the roots of that problem in your wonderful book on the Constitution of the Earth. In your introduction, you go back to the roots of the problem being in this in this whole mechanistic view that the universe is sort of like a mechanical clock, and then out of that came the idea that an economy that's a mechanical economy, and if everybody pursues their own self-interest in some magical way, this will all come together and serve the common good. And you mentioned that there's now a new paradigm that has emerged that breaks the logic of that paradigm, which you said would have the inevitable result of making even good people do bad things because they're in that broken system.
Yes.
What is the new paradigm you see emerging, and how does it emerge out of this to empower people to do the good they want to do in the world?
Well, in my own studies of that paradigm, and I've written about it in all of my books, one way or another. I call it the evolutionary holism. Right, that's my name for it. And it wonderfully so, it has emerged from the discoveries of science. Right, it isn't just as the old paradigm, the paradigm on which the nation-state system of fragmentation is based and the capitalist system of self-interest is based. That paradigm came out of Newtonian science. Right, it was the scientists who formulated the Newtonian worldview, which was atomistic and mechanistic and deterministic. All of that has been overthrown, beginning in 1900 with Max Planck and his quantum of physics, and in 1905 with Albert Einstein's special theory of relativity. From those breakthroughs on, throughout the 20th and 21st century, science has discovered the interdependency, the integration, the inseparability of all things in the universe, not just on Earth. And of course, with the discovery of climate science, the climate scientists are confirming and reinforcing that same general idea that we're interdependent with the ecosystem of the planet. And the ecosystem of the planet is not atomistic, but it's a giant web, a network of interrelationships. So unless we, so the new paradigm is one in which we must conform with that network of relationships. We're not separate as human beings who can just dominate and exploit the planet as capitalism does, for example, or as the militarism does of nation states. You know, we have to learn to think as brothers and sisters, right? As Mahatma Gandhi said, we have to think in terms of unity and diversity with all of one another and loving one another. And these are built into the Earth Constitution, these ideas.